Hi everyone, my name is Volker. I'm a compulsive eater and GreySheeter. I eat 3 weighed and measured meals from the GreySheet, write them down, and commit them to my sponsor each day without exception. I don't eat anything in between, no matter what. And abstinence is the most important thing of my life today. And my abstinent date is the 15th of April, 2020. Yeah, I'm really glad that I can qualify in this meeting. It's my first time. And yeah, I'm also a little excited. And yeah, I tried to take it away, made some notes. And yeah, what can I say? So I think unlike most of you, I'm not a natural born food addict. So I think maybe I had some tendencies during my adolescence and my childhood, but I never really was a natural born overeater. It just came after I got sober in another fellowship. More the challenge in my life in my childhood was more like that I always had to eat the whole portion I got on my plate. So this was difficult to eat all of it. And sometimes I ate because of boredom. But it just skyrocketed after I got sober in another 12-step fellowship, which is focused on lust. And after getting sober there, my addictive behavior just switched to food. And I just lost this feeling of satiety. I was always in the mood of eating, and it took me a while to realize it because at first I wasn't conscious of it, and I could eat anything compulsively. I First I thought I would be smart, and I tried to eat a lot of quote unquote healthy food, but it always ended in overeating. And after a while, I realized it. And then I tried it with OA because I heard of OA and it's quite a big fellowship. And I had a food plan there with weighing and measuring, not like GreySheet. It was with grains and it was with exceptions. And I think it was okay. The food plan was not bad, but I saw that there's no common solution in OA like we have in GreySheet. So there were people in the meeting who made fun of people who were weighing and measuring. And I was sitting there in the meeting and they were saying, they are so compulsive and blah, blah, blah. And it was just strange. And also there was not a lot of, abstinence and recovery in OA. So I heard from GreySheet from people in my other fellowship, and then I decided to do GreySheet in 2017. But I only did it for 3 months because it was I would say now it was too hard for me. And I also was lying to myself because I said, it's not that bad for me that I have to take these severe measures. And it was also because of codependency, because I'm very bad at saying no and rejecting food. And then my plan was to leave GreySheet after 90 days and to be able to say, well, I tried it, but it didn't work. And but the seed was planted basically. And after this while, until I started GreySheet again, I think almost every day I thought about doing GreySheet again, but it took me a long time to have actually the willingness to do so. And it was all these negative things. I was dishonest with me and other people. When I was eating with other people, I always had in mind, what would they think if I get a second helping or a third helping or a fourth? I was at an event and there was this really big guy. He was really fat and he said, "Oh, you're eating a lot," and this really made me think. And after this event where I overate, I was fasting for 10 days, but it didn't cure me either. And I tried OA again without a food plan this time. My sponsor was overweighted, and I tried it on my own. I tried it with my own GreySheet. I modified, but it also didn't work. It sometimes worked for 1 or 2 weeks, but then there was this one event where I just would relapse in my former behavior. And I don't know, I tried ketogenic diet, really tedious. I have been with that, and yeah, it just didn't work out in the end. It was the obsession with food, which was the most annoying thing. Trying to do it on my own, I always have the desire to overeat, and I try to make myself these boundaries, but it never really worked out. And yeah, in the end, I didn't bother anymore. I overate every evening. I had always remorse on the next day, and in the evening I would overeat again. I had to go to the supermarket every day because my supplies never really lasted for more than one day. And I never got fat, though. I was slightly overweighted, but never really fat that someone would say, "Oh, this guy is fat" or something like that. But I really felt like I would be fat. And what I also noticed is that I'm a volume eater, so I heard this term in Gray Sheet, and it's really fitting for me. And I just always had to eat as much as possible, and also as cheap as possible. So I bought stuff which is not even for eating; it was for baking, and I just ate it because it was the cheapest stuff I could get. So it was, yeah, this, I don't know, this self-hatred and this addictive behavior combined. And yeah, it was when COVID started that I finally had enough willingness to start GreySheet again. I think because of the remote work, because I was here at home. On some weeks, I was the entire week at home, and yeah, my fridge is just a few meters away. And I think this finally pushed me back into the willingness to start GreySheet again. And I reached out to a contact I had before, and yeah, I had a sponsor instantly, and I just could start. And to be honest, at first I was very remorseful and thought, oh no, I'm not free anymore, and I cannot make my own food decisions, and all this work with food preparing, and yeah, I don't know, maybe you know these thoughts when after hearing about GreySheet or after starting GreySheet. And it didn't it took me a while, and I think I'm still in the process, even though I'm, I don't know, almost 3 years abstinent now. It's getting better and it improved a lot. But yeah, I'm not, I cannot say that I'm super grateful in anything, but it's much better than everything I had before. It was totally the right decision. And yeah, I think it's good to remind myself that all the negative things I talked about are just not there anymore. And I really cannot validate this enough. I often take it for granted. So I don't know. One thing I just remembered when I thought about what could I say during the qualification is on some occasions when I ate too much, and then I would exercise compulsively, because in order to be more hungry for the next meal when there was a special meal or something. For example, my sister's wedding. This was not too long before I started GreySheet again. It was right before the pandemic, so there was my sister's wedding, and before I overate, and then they had a great meal. It wasn't, of course, it wasn't abstinent or anything, but it was just good food. And but I didn't like the food because I overate, and I yeah I ran to I walked to the through the entire town just to be more to have more appetite and stuff like that. And I don't have to do this anymore. And what I also realized is that my hunger is purely psychological. It's not even real hunger. To be honest, I'm rarely hungry. I have the desire to eat, yes, but I'm not hungry. I'm not physically hungry because the GreySheet is supplying my body in a way and keeping the blood sugar levels and everything so that I don't get hungry, because I get 3 meals a day, and uh, they are in the right size and everything. But it's the desire to eat, and I think that's hardwired in my brain somehow, that when I don't feel very well or when I'm bored, which is happening not that often anymore. But in these moments, I just want to eat. Yeah, it's I mean every every addict has its own symptoms, and for the one it's alcohol, it's also lust for me, but lust is not as much prevalent anymore. It's mainly the food. Yeah, and yeah, I have to admit, when I started GreySheet, I thank you, Laura. I sometimes watched food videos, and I acted out severely with the consumption of electronic media, but this also went better because of other 12-step fellowships and yeah, just get a higher degree of suffering, which caused me to be abstinent in these areas as well. And but this is also improving. I think boredom is the one of the main causes for my not being well. And I do more activities. I do service. Sometimes it's too much. On Saturday, I had almost the entire day. I had some 12-step related stuff to do. This is good. Maybe it was a bit too much, but it's better to have too much to do than not enough and feeling bad and stuff like that. But still, I have this tendency to look at my watch. Oh, when it's finally the next meal, and but this is not about the food. Yeah, the food is just a way to fuel my body, and GreySheet is a great way to do that. Because people often tell me, oh, you look so good, and yeah, your skin is so healthy and stuff like that. So that's a great side effects of the GreySheet diet, but it's not the core of it. The core is my well-being, but maybe my inner well-being shines out on the outside. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, and I'm really glad that I was forced to do the GreySheet. Sometimes I say to myself, I didn't choose the GreySheet. The GreySheet chose me, because this is not at all what I wanted to do. Yeah, but when you would have asked me in high school, what would you like to do in 10 years? I would not have said that I would like to sit in an apartment and put my food on a scale and don't eat grains and sugars and stuff like that anymore. This was just totally out of my mind. So yeah, maybe it's got tool for me to develop and to learn to say no. And I also want to share about two big no matter whats I had. So the first is that around Christmas time, 2 years ago or so, one day I was offered a lot of free food. It was really a lot, a few kilos, and this from my company and from a supplier of my company. And free food is my biggest enemy. And I think this comes from my attitude of scarcity, that I always think I don't have enough. And when I get something offered for free, then why should I let it go? Yeah, it's mine, right? And it really put me on edge. Oh man, I cannot eat that. But I cannot throw it away, because I cannot throw food away. It's really hard. And what I did then is there are several internet platforms where you can just place stuff you have, and you can place it for free. And I put the offer online, and 30 seconds afterward, I got a message, I would like to have that. And they came on the same day, and they got the stuff, and they were happy, and I was happy. No, I wasn't happy, to be honest. But now I'm happy that I didn't do it, that I didn't relapse or thought I could eat that. In this moment, it was hard, and I really had to surrender that, to be honest. Yeah. And the second, no matter what, was a business trip I had last year in April. So this was with my company, and I work for an American company, and there were these American managers and vice president and co-workers, and we were visiting suppliers. We had 3 restaurant visits in 3 days. Thank you, Laura. And I had so much negative thoughts about that before. What would they say if I was there with my cooling box where I got my meals and my backup? But everything worked, and no one cared for more than 30 seconds. When I put my scale on the table and weighed my stuff, one of the managers was asking, "Oh, Volker, are you doing an scientific experiment?" So he was doing a joke, and then I said, "Yes, ha ha ha." And no one cared, and they just talked about the weather or about whatever. So no one really cares. It's just in my head that these self-centeredness and anything. So yeah, right now I'm doing great and I'm really happy. And yeah, I think I leave it with that. Thank you.